Do you ever just have that one figure in your collection where you wish you could just change one thing about it? That's this figure to me. This is the Undertaker Monster figure that came out in a line that Mattel did not too... Well, I was going to say not too long ago, but then I'm thinking about it. I bought this figure when I was probably like 13, 14, so it's been a minute. But the one thing I have an issue with this figure is, as far as the detailing, it's great. But the one thing I wish it had was better leg articulation, because this is built, I should say, on a basic body. And of course, there's no torso articulation either. Now, personally, I'm someone who can live without torso articulation. That's why I have the Motu Origins figures. I still think you can get poses with them without the torso. I'm actually one of those people who, if you've ever seen those like Walmart 12-inch figures, like they have one of like Ronaldo, Spider-Man, Batman, those figures, personally, I think if I had those as a kid, if they made those lines back in the days, I would have made so many crazy adventures. When I'm like, I remember talking about this with my friend. But anyways, enough of me getting sidetracked. Today, I'm going to be somewhat trying to make this figure better. And the way I'm going to do that is with this Undertaker figure. The plan for today is to simply torso crack this figure. If you don't know what that means, that essentially means I'm going to pop the way these figures are made. There's actually a seam line down the middle where they glued them together. Now with this one, I have to take off a couple other things, but it's doable. And what I'm gonna do with popping this torso open is actually putting it onto these Elite legs. This is an old beat up Elite that I got from a flea market for like $5 probably. And it does have designs on the side, but they are so faded that it doesn't even matter. And originally I was a little worried about the designs because I was gonna put it onto this one, but I thought the blue wouldn't really match with the purple. So I went to this figure, and it does have designs that are very loose, or I shouldn't say loose, very faint. So we're gonna go with this one. Anyways, let's actually get to doing it. So first thing up is to go and heat up some goddamn water. Normally I would do this in a cup, but in this case I think a bowl would make it easier, simply because it is probably gonna be kind of a pain to take the figures out of a cup. It usually is, so I'm actually going with this skull bowl this time. Why the skull bowl? Just because it's fucking dope. So first thing I'm doing here is taking off its wings. Try to take off the t-shirt here, but it's been a little difficult. So I'm just gonna try and pry it off with a screwdriver right now, and yeah. So we're putting those figures in the hot water to soften the plastic up and hopefully loosen up some of the glue so we can get the torso cracking them. One of the first things we got to do though is take off the head, because if the head's on it, you can't do it. So that's what I just did there, and still trying to get that t-shirt off, and it's just being a cunt. So yeah. So that Monsters figure t-shirt really didn't want to come off, so I'm just going to start torso cracking the other figure using a flathead screwdriver. Definitely needed if you're trying to torso crack something, but yeah. So the Undertaker's torso on the Elite was being a little bit of a cunt. So finally able to get this Monsters t-shirt off to start torso cracking this guy. But the old Elite figures was being a bit of a cunt. Sometimes you run into that with the older figures. It's just like they do not want to crack at all. And unfortunately sometimes they break a lot of the times, which does happen with this figure, unfortunately. But it's not like I really had much of a something planned to do with the torso anyways. But here's where I finally get it to crack open, which, like finally, Jesus, you know what I mean? Of course, that means we can just start cracking the second part of the torso, and this one came off rather quickly. This part just didn't want to come off even though I had cracked it, but I got it off eventually. It was just being a little bit of a cunt, but yeah. As you can see, we got the legs right here just on its own, and now we're ready to torso crack the other figure and put the torso onto it. unfortunately for me, I realized that the peg that would go into the torso was actually not long enough because of the skirt, because it's supposed to kind of plug into a piece of the torso that I'm trying to show right there, and it doesn't have that extension piece like the other legs do. So to combat this, we are going to cut that piece off and try to glue it on to the other little extension piece, as you can see. So right here, I'm just going to glue the two pieces that I'm going to glue on top of the leg peg, because for some reason it had a seam line down the middle and it split in two when I cut it off the other legs. So I'm just going to glue them together so I don't have to worry about individually gluing them on the leg peg when I go to do it. So yeah. So this is where I'm just going to start to glue the piece on to the leg peg, as I said, because that peg goes into the torso. As I explained earlier, it wasn't long enough, so I had to cut off that other piece. But yeah, I'm just trying to test right here if it would be even, and I think it's working okay right here, so I think I just proceed. So I have it glued on right here at the moment, at least. I'm just trying to let it dry. And I'm just trying to glue the torso to it now. Putting the glue where the torso pegs would be at normally. Because that's usually how they would do it in the factory. You know, they put the glue on the pegs and, you know, just kind of smush it in. Of course, I would imagine they have some type of machine doing it versus one dumbass here doing it on his own. So, yeah. So proceeding, I just put the t-shirt back on and I'm going to begin putting the head and arms back on. Just have to re-warm up some water to put them on because you can't just put it on straight away. So that's the water off to the side, obviously. So I'm going to put the head back on and put these arms back on. And unfortunately for me, my impatientness is what screwed me here. Might not see it on screen what happens, but as I'm trying to put the head back on, the legs come off from the body, and that's because I didn't let the extension peg piece glue in properly to the leg peg. So kind of this thing's really shit the bed. I should have really let it glue the little inner piece that I was talking about earlier. I should have really let that set in and glue, because now it actually fell out while I was putting the torso and the rest of the stuff on, and now I'm just gonna have to glue the torso down into that middle piece and hope that it grabs enough to hold. But now unfortunately it's not gonna have any type of swivel in the waist, which, you know, it is what it is. It still has the elite legs articulation, but yeah, bit of an unfortunate thing, but I really gotta let it sit here. So I'll see y'all in like an hour or so, but until then I'm gonna play some video games. Catch ya. So depending on how you see it, this is a complete success, but you can also see it as a complete failure. No longer has waist articulation, which the whole point of me doing this was to give him more articulation, so I kind of traded one thing for another thing, which is kind of stupid, but it is what it is. To me, it's okay, because if I do have him in a stop motion, or to me at least, when it like a vampire, I mean, he's just gonna kind of swoop down like this. If someone kicks him, I mean, I could still kind of, well, shit. After re-gluing him back down, yes, no torso articulation anymore, but it does have the good leg articulation now. So once again, as I was saying, a bit of a trade-off. Wasn't expecting that to happen, mostly on my fuck up because I didn't let that piece settle all the way. I should have left it for a good while, and also I should have probably used some X-Acto knives, because I was just using a fucking knife from the kitchen. So I'm the type of person, I just use whatever I have on my hand. So I'm a little dumb and a little impatient, but I mean, it is what it is. What I'm gonna do though is actually add some blood to this guy, just because the face, or I should say the paint job on the face as it is a little sloppy. So I may as well, you know, try and maybe cover it with some blood paint. Maybe thinking about giving the wings a black wash as well, but I'm not quite sure. Because if I was to give the wings a wash, I'd want to give the face a wash, but I wouldn't want to give the arms a wash because of all the tattoos, and I feel like that would probably cover them up, obviously. So, yeah, probably not gonna happen. Let's get to the blood job, though. I just painted this dude and put some mouth polish on him to hold this stuff and to make the blood look a little bit shinier, but we're gonna let that dry, and I'll give y'all one final look. Here he is, all complete. As I said, elite legs, torso, I completely fucked. But yeah, I think it came out pretty fucking cool. Obviously, you can see he's got blood on his mouth now and some of the fingers. Kind of reminds me of the Nosferatu now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, these monster figures were really cool, but just didn't obviously have that articulation level to them. So adding the elite legs while sacrificing the torso kind of fucks it in a way, because I wanted to have it as like you know, to be able to use it, but I feel like with this articulation I still can to a certain point. It is what it is though. Sometimes you fuck up, sometimes it goes good. In this case, at least we still have a figure that we can put on the show with at least some type of improved mobility. But yeah, anyways though folks, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Here's the figure of where it's going at in my collection with all my Undertakers and stuff. And hope y'all doing well. You know, let your loved ones know that you love them. And have a good one, man.